Hi everyone, today's video is a little different because I wanted to share my morning routine as a married 35-year-old, no kids, who has a 9-to-5 office job. So typically I set my alarm for 5:15 and I try to get up by 5:30. That's early, I know, but my husband actually leaves even earlier than I do, so I am typically alone for my morning routine. So the first thing I do when I wake up is start my skincare regimen. I just got these prescription pads from my dermatologist. I don't love that they're single use, but that's pretty much the only form they come in, and since they're a prescription, I'm just going to use them. Next, I always put on a vitamin C in the morning. This is a new one to me from Naturium that I am really excited to start using. I also always love putting on my moisturizer every morning. It's my all-time favorite, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. I've talked about this a million times, but it just feels moisturizing and refreshing and light. So it's kind of the perfect wake me up moisturizer every morning. And then depending on what I'm going to be doing during the day or how much makeup I'm going to be wearing or not wearing, I also try to put on a sunscreen, especially your skin can be more prone to sun sensitivity when wearing vitamin C. So if it was one of those days, I would have put on my sunscreen, and it is the Naturium Dew Glow Moisturizer with SPF 50. So that's typically what my morning routine looks like, just those 4 things. Next, it's time to get changed. I picked a pretty casual outfit today because I knew it was going to be a quiet day in the office. Most of my coworkers were going to be out. I didn't have any meetings scheduled, so I was just going to be sitting at my desk with my headphones in all day, doing some data entry and working on emails. So I was able to be a little more casual today, but I still wanted to do my makeup so that I feel put together. That's just part of my morning routine. So today I'm going to be using all 5 palettes in my eyeshadow palette Project Pan. I'll have that playlist linked below. So I'm starting out by putting the shade Slate from the Sahara palette in my crease. Next, I'm going into my Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette and using that N shade as my all over lid shade, and I'm just using my finger. I find that that usually works really well with the more shimmer shades, satin shades like this. Next, I'm going over my all over lid shade with that Cyborg shade from the ABH Sultry palette. It's such a bright silver, but I find that layering it on top of something else kind of helps tone it down a little bit, but it's also a way to use the shade on a daily basis. Next, I'm going into my Coastal palette and using that Shore shade and just using that as my inner corner highlight. It's a very light shade. There's not a lot of pigment payoff to it, so it's definitely more of an inner corner highlight or maybe like an eyeshadow topper situation. Next, I'm using this color Mulled Wine from my Sigma Warm Wishes palette, and I'm just going to use that as my eyeliner today. It works really well. I just either use a pencil brush or a little liner brush like this, and I can just kind of draw it across my eyelids. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a soft brown, so it's a little less harsh than using a liquid pen or a black eyeliner. All right, so there's the finished eye look. Pretty simple for an office look. Now let's move on to the face. I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This has just been a really good color match for me lately, so I've been using it almost on a daily basis. I just use one pump typically and just kind of use that to blend all over my face. I can add more if I feel like I need more coverage in certain areas, which I sometimes do, but again, since I knew this was going to be a day at the office where I wasn't really going to maybe see a lot of people or have any meetings, I didn't feel like I needed super full coverage. So one pump is plenty. I always make sure I really blend around my ears and my jawline. Next, I'm going to use my NYX Bear With Me concealer. It is almost gone, but still going strong. It's kind of the never-ending concealer. So I usually just kind of dot that on any problem areas under my eyes, and then I just blend it out really lightly with that brush. And then I actually usually just flip the brush around and use the foundation side and then just kind of pat in the rest. I find that that helps kind of keep the coverage but blend it out without it becoming too sheer. Next, I'm going to set my T-zone and under my eyes with my CoverGirl Clean Fresh powder. This is also like the never-ending powder, but I really don't use that much, as you see, which is probably why it's taking me so long to get through it. I usually just do very lightly on my T-zone and under my eyes to set that concealer that we just put there. Now we're moving on to bronzer. It's from my Hourglass 6 pan, and I'm just going to use that powder bronzer. This is part of my project pan. I can link that playlist below as well. Now I'm going to use my Rare Beauty cream blush in Nearly Neutral. I think I hit pan on this. I couldn't really tell what was going on in there, but this is truly what the name says. A perfect neutral pink mauve shade that's great for every day. I think it looks really good with the Hourglass bronzer, and they kind of blend into each other really well. So that's what I'm doing here, just making sure that I blend, blend, blend. Now I'm going to use this like setting powder in that Hourglass palette. It just has that slight bit of glow to it, and honestly I'm just trying to start making a dent in it so that when I do roll it into my project pan, it's already got some usage. It's more of like a finishing powder, and I definitely don't think it's a necessary step in anyone's makeup routine, but I do think it kind of blends everything together and does look nice. And then the last thing I'm going to add to my face is highlighter, and this is my ColourPop highlighter in Lunch Money, also in my project pan. Got a ton of pan going in there. Excited to keep using it. And now we're going to set the face using my Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray. So while that spray is kind of setting in the makeup, I'm going to quickly do my hair. Again, super casual work day. This is a day where if I was going to actually style it more, I would do some dry shampoo. But again, since I'm just going to be kind of doing some busy work and catching up on things. It's gonna be a quiet day at the office. I just went for the claw clip hairstyle today to keep it out of my face, but I wanted it kind of sleeked back. So I'm gonna use this day hairstyling wand gel thing to just kind of comb through the front sections to make sure that any flyaways or loose strands kind of get tamped down and stay in place, at least for the morning. So that's looking good. So also I take my vitamins every day, just a multivitamin. I do a gummy because I'm a baby and I don't like swallowing pills if I don't have to. And then I'm also going to put my jewelry on while the last little bit of that setting spray is doing its job. I can link my jewelry below. Some of it is Amazon, so it's easy to get your hands on. I also didn't film it, but this is also when I put my deodorant on. I use the Dove dry spray deodorant and then my body mist and perfumes. I use the French or Frenchie, whatever that's called, from Target for my body mist, so I'll link that below as well. And then I'm just gonna top off my look with a little bit of like the lip glossy thing. This is L'Oreal or Maybelline, whatever the lip vinyl is. It's in my everyday makeup drawer from my Shop My Stash, which I can link that playlist below as well. So I just threw that on. I just add a super light wash of color. Then I'm gonna do my brows. It's super quick. If you've been here for a while, you know that doing my brows is my least favorite part of my makeup routine, so I do it as quickly as possible. Then the final step is my mascara. I'm using my Hourglass Unlocked mascara. This is definitely a splurge item, but in my mind, it is worth it every now and then. It does wonders for my lashes. It looks so good. It volumizes, it lifts, it separates, and it's a tubing mascara, so it's super easy to take off at the end of the day. All right, so that is our makeup look for the workday today. Nice and clean and simple. The next thing I do is make my bed. This is a good habit to get into regardless, but I definitely have to make the bed every day now because our condo is actually listed on the market. So we never know when someone could request a showing. So I try to leave for work every day with everything made up, put away, looking neat and tidy. I do feel like I was a little rushed today, so the pillows are looking quite lopsided in this shot now that I'm realizing. Usually I kind of fluff them up more, so I don't know, it was just one of those days. So now we gotta make the coffee. I am dying for some coffee at this point. So I always make it to go just so I can drink it in the car and when I get to work. And I do iced coffee most every day in the iced coffee maker that I have. I can try and find it. I always pour a little bit into my cup and then I add a scoop of collagen powder. My favorite is from Beam. I can link a promo below, not sponsored. It's just easier to blend up when it's just a small amount of liquid, and then I can make sure it's really, really blended in there. Then I can just top it off with the rest of the iced coffee. Pat myself on the back for having the perfect amount left for the week in that coffee maker. And then I just add a little bit of creamer. And we are good to go. I can also try and link this cup below. It's all the Taylor Swift albums, but on book spines. Next, I'm grabbing my lunch. About 2 or 3 times a week, I prep a smoothie the night before and put it in the freezer so that it gets really frozen. So here's just some smoothie things. I think this day I had done some peaches, some kiwi, some spinach, and then water vanilla protein powder, chia seeds, blended it all up, froze it overnight. So then I can just grab it and go in the morning. So the last thing I'm doing is just packing up my purse, making sure I have all the things that I need. My two must-have items are my daily planner and my AirPods. I'll try and link the planner below. And today was a running day, so I have my gym bag, which I also always pack the night before so that I can just grab it and go in the morning. So we've got the gym bag, we've got the purse, we've got the lunch, and we've got the coffee. So we are ready to head out and start our work day. I hope you enjoyed seeing my morning routine. I go to work earlier than most people. 6:30 is when I start work, but I just always think it's interesting to see morning routines. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next week.